So we advocate outright capitalism in place of the Land Use Act. I mean, it's one thing to be able to say we would look at the process through which government allocates land presently. It's another thing to actually let it open for competition and have, for instance, land in Lagos, assuming all land was vested in the government, because we do know that some land Omoniles own them, as it were, and the government recognizes the right of those Omoniles. If all land in Lagos were vested in government and government were to auction those parcels of land, as it were, we do know that almost all land in Lagos will skyrocket, because almost every private developer will want a piece of the action. And it's only common sense that also the houses that they will build on those particular plots of land will also be in the skies, as it were. So are you saying that in place of the Land Use Act, we should just open it to market forces?
This is the way it works. When you auction land and you sell, you get instant money with which you provide infrastructure and social amenities to the less privileged. But right now, because of the Land Use Act, you don't have investors.
Sorry, so the less privileged who will live where?
As I gave a example of a private developer going to Ajegule to develop 1 or 2 bedrooms, because he has access to this land. He's not afraid that the land will be revoked.
How would the private developer who wants to build something for the Nat'l Housing Fund get access to land that he's not allocated to, that he has to bid competitively for?
This is the point I'm making. These are regulatory policies that you have to put in place. If you know that you have ready access to land, you see, the construction industry is big business, even far more than the telecommunication. All we are saying is let it be competitive. Let there be accessibility, let there be guarantee to land. And then you find out that, elsewhere in the world, construction, mass housing is the surest way of making your money. Is the greatest hedge against inflation. So to answer your question specifically, if you are sure that you can readily invest in land and you have ready access to land, then government will have the direct source of tax. There will be real employment because construction industry is the highest employer of labor massively, and then you'll be able to curb unemployment rapidly, and then the money that government gets from this sales of land, it is what that money you use to provide social amenities, so infrastructure, cheap housing, social housing, as it were.
So is your institute putting up a position paper to the assembly or to government? Because the government is talking about no contract will come to them if they don't show proper plan, design, or transition. Are you going to talk about this to them?
Yes, we are going to put in our position paper, particularly with this template, which it's the in now as a way of reducing costs, and then we're going to push very hard to ensure that we will make input and follow through that input, so that because by the time you are able to reduce the cost of construction, the money you will use to build, if you are going to use 100 million to construct, say for example, 2 estates, and we're able to reduce the cost of constructing these 2 estates. Yeah. So that's 100 million you can use to construct 10 estates.
What's the foreign twist, which you talked about initially? You were saying most of the construction industry is most of them are foreigners.
Yeah, you have a lot of foreign construction company doing most of our major construction projects.
Why? Is it because our people are not competent, or what's the reason they gave?
Well, it's all the problem with government. We have very competent indigenous contractors, just as we have competent professionals. It's you go to tender, and at the end of the day, we find out that there is a concentration of major construction projects in
Why
foreign
is that?
contractors.
Do you think that you haven't proved yourself?
Well, this is all part of the problem with government. This is all we are saying. And permit me again to refer to that distinguished Senator Lubibiri paper. He put it there very squarely that all the projects they expected are all being done by foreign contractors. That should not be, and that should not be allowed to happen.
Will the local contractors coming in kind of reduce the cost of all of these contracts?
Oh, sure, because the elements of contract, as I said, includes material, labor, your overhead and profit, and your preliminaries. I mean, you have so much tied to preliminaries. For the indigenous contractors, they surely have less overheads, as well as their preliminaries are going to be lower. So it's also a way to reduce the cost of construction. So we must encourage the indigenous contractor. There must be a way that government must say, I mean, for every one contract given to a foreign contractor, 3, 4, 5 should be given to indigenous contractors with all the consultants.
Do you have internal mechanism or processes of disciplining any area member of yours? For instance, anyone goes out of track?
Oh yes, we have the disciplinary board, which is very, very stern. That disciplinary board is headed by normally a past president of our profession, and they do random checks.
Any recent case? Because we see buildings collapsing here and there, but have you disciplined anyone recently?
Well, for the issue of collapse of buildings, I mean, you have to make a report that this is the quantity surveyor who is involved in this collapse building for you to be disciplined. We don't have any.
You don't go out of your way to look out for those people who were quantity surveyors in the case of collapsed buildings?
Well, we have not really seen any, because most of these collapsed buildings are usually.
You haven't seen any collapsed buildings?
No. Any case where you have a quantity surveyor involved in a collapsed building, because from papers, from records, you usually find out that most of these collapsed buildings, they don't employ professionals, not just only quantity surveyors.
Wow, that's not a pleasant one, actually. All right, then. You want to make a final point?
Yes. The template which we're talking of, one key area that we want to work very hard, that is in that template, is what we call value engineering audit. Value engineering audit. That is, for any project, the government should be able to say there must be value engineering audit, for which quantity surveyors are specially trained to execute. Now, the essence of that audit, which is lacking right now, is that it should be able, with value engineering audit, your design are prone to be audited at any point in time.
Okay.
Your construction work has to be audited at any point in time. At the end of the construction activities, when the final account is prepared, it's also subject to auditing. Now, if we have that in a template, and you know that what we are doing will ultimately be audited, it will drastically reduce our cost of production.